How we pray is how we believe. And that is the key to understanding the battle surrounding the Latin Mass. Why is there such a strong push to get rid of the old rite of the Mass, the old Latin Mass? Why is Pope Francis and many of the high-ranking churchmen he has surrounded himself with bent on stopping out a flourishing community of young people seeking to deepen their faith life with a Mass that's the same one attended by the greatest saints the Church has ever known for over 1,000 years? What is this hatred for a form of the liturgy or worship that, from an outside perspective, can only be seen as perhaps even a neat gimmick to revitalize a failing institution? It's like the return of old Coke, since new Coke was a sales disaster. Well, the answer to this central question is contained in a Latin phrase, lex orandi, lex credendi. The law of prayer is the law of faith, or more loosely translated, how we pray is how we believe. And that is the key to understanding the battle surrounding the Latin Mass. Why are all the liberal prelates stacked up on one side of this debate? Why the Pope, Cardinal Cupich, Cardinal Gregory, Cardinal Roche, Cardinal Farrell, Bishop John Stowe, and more? Why are all the faithful Catholic prelates on the other side fighting for the retention of the traditional Latin Mass? Cardinal Burke, Cardinal Sarah, Cardinal Zen, Archbishop Vigano, Bishop Schneider, and more. Well, there are all sorts of reasons, for sure. But I wanted to highlight one reason that perhaps few think about. It's at the heart of all the culture war. All those liberal prelates that I mentioned would all be regarded as heretics in more Catholic times. They oppose the Church's perennial teaching on homosexuality, for starters. They also oppose the teaching against contraception. They fight the Church's encouragement for large families. They waver on the pro-life teachings, for instance, in their glorification of pro-abortion politicians and the insistence on giving them Holy Communion. They are the opposite in these respects from their faithful counterparts, also mentioned previously. So, how does this play out then in terms of the traditional Latin Mass? Well, you will find that attendees of the old Latin Mass reject all the newfangled anti-Catholic nouveau theology that these liberal prelates promote. Check out this survey of Latin Mass Catholics compared to mainstream Catholics of the Novus Ordo that we reported on at LifeSite in 2019. The traditional Latin Mass national survey carried out by Father Donald Closter, who celebrated both the Novus Ordo Mass and the traditional Mass for 20 years, he noticed big differences between the people attending the two different types of Masses. So he decided to do a survey of Latin Mass Catholics to see where they stood on key issues which were common to the surveys of Catholics in the general public carried out by major pollsters. So here are a few of the issues he looked at. The approval of contraception, the approval of abortion, the approval of same-sex marriage. And the results of this survey were astounding. Pew, the big national pollster, found that 89% of nominal Catholics or of Novus Ordo Catholics approve contraception. That's 89%. You know what the number was among traditional Latin Mass Catholics surveyed? 2%. 89% of Novus Ordo Catholics approve of contraception, 2% among traditional Latin Mass Catholics. That's an unreal difference. Well, let's look at the next category. Pew Research found that 51% of Novus Ordo Catholics approve abortion. Among traditional Latin Mass Catholics, it was 1%. Also, Daily Wire found in a massive survey that they did, they found that 67% of Novus Ordo Catholics approve of gay marriage. And among traditional Latin Mass Catholics, it was 2%. Those differences are astounding. It is unreal. Go check it out at LifeSite News for the full story. Check out the research, how they did it, everything else. But to me, it is no wonder that liberal prelates in the church want to stomp out the traditional Latin Mass. Hi, everyone. This is John Henry Westen. We hope you enjoyed this program. To see more like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button below to get all the latest content from LifeSite News. Check the links in the description to read more and connect with us on social media so that you can stay up to date with all the latest life, family, faith, and freedom news. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.